Everybody calm down. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:30 PM for the Dover Select Board regular meeting of Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. First order of business, as always, public comments. Linda.
Hi. So I feel I need to apologize publicly to the board and to the public that's here for the last board meeting. I said something, I thought I whispered, and apparently it was heard by all. I was having a really bad day and just could not get my head wrapped around anything. And please know that what I said was not intended to the board or anybody, it was my own goings on, so I do apologize.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, we're gonna move on to new business. Health officer reappointment, Tabi Freedman. So Tabi's. Jeanette, did we do, how many, what's the term on these?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Tabi, do you want to be the health officer?
So.
Tabi, will you be our health officer?
I will, it's challenging at times, although with the fire marshals taking on the original housing health code, it's less onerous, so I will stay with it. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but I will stay with it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jeanette, I see that there's a signature required, and then will you administer the oath, or who should do that?
Yeah, I can do that. It's fine.
You can do that whenever, like tomorrow.
Yeah, her term I don't think is up until September,
Oh,
mid-September.
perfect.
So fine.
Perfect. Okay. Any other discussion about the health officer appointment?
Actually,
Thank you.
I do have one quick question.
Yes,
Rich Werner is currently on deck as my
assistant deputy.
assistant, backup, whatever. Do we need to verify with him if he's still going to continue with that, or?
Well, we didn't warn that here,
Okay,
so
So-
Jeanette,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a different appointment, and he's already signed on for that. I think we did that. It's a different timing, so his has already been. He said he would serve this next term, but he wasn't sure anything following that. But he's already signed up for that term.
okay, thank you for that. Any discussion about the appointment of the health officer?
No.
Does somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we appoint Tabi Freeman as the town health officer to serve a term of 3 years, starting, what is it, October 1st?
October 1st, Jeanette?
It should say on that form,
I'm looking.
maybe on the second page or.
Or the third page.
Okay, or the third page.
I think they just a 3 year.
Okay, for a 3-year
Yeah.
term,
That's fine.
effective when their current term expires.
Seconded by Dan.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, moving on. Memorandum of Understanding Agreement between Dover and Somerset. Welcome. Good.
Okay.
Ricky Harrington, I'm the supervisor for the town of Somerset. Hi Jeanette, thank you for putting me on the agenda.
Yeah.
I have 2 copies. I signed them both because I thought this would go forward, and I apologize if I'm a little over presumption. But nothing really has changed except for the dates. Again, I can't thank the town of Dover enough for allowing the residents of Somerset, who are very few, to have a place to vote and also have a place to bring their trash. And everybody said, well, hey, it's the state of Vermont, they bring it to any site. Maybe so, I don't know, but it's nice to know there's a town that understands that these people are coming to them, and we do appreciate it. The token we talked about in the past isn't very much. I don't think you folks are in it for the money. But I do think that you should be recognized with some amount of money. I believe I was here last year also, and I think I paid $250, or right, the state sent down $250 ahead of time. I think we're now back on the regular 2-year schedule. So this is of July 24. I shouldn't be coming over to see you for 2 more years. And thus I'm paying you the $500 this year in advance.
Okay,
So if we will burn the towns down tomorrow, well, I guess I'm out $500.
or in a year, it's,
I'd like to present both of those to you. For your review and sign one of them, and as long as you're in agreement.
I had a copy of the check
I'll be
too.
on the door.
Nice. Any questions about the memorandum of understanding? This is the same rate that the last one was under, and
I make a motion, we authorize the chair to sign the memorandum of understanding between the unorganized town of Somerset, I love that, and the town of Dover.
Second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. The disorganized stuff.
8 second delay or something on this.
I
You
know.
had to find the unmute button.
Okay, so you need both of these back, or we keeping one?
Your copy with a check, and I'll take the other one and put it in my files, and like I said, I'll
We're all
very
set.
happy to revisit this in a couple of years, and of course. I thought maybe I gave it to Jeanette, and if I didn't, I apologize for your folks to maybe have a chance to review it before tonight.
Oh, yeah, we had it.
Okay.
We had it in our
so,
packets, so,
Again, this isn't something I wanna just throw in your lap and say, sign it. It's,
Right.
no,
take a look at it. If you
everybody
don't agree
deserves a
with it-
place to vote.
Yeah,
Everybody
Yeah.
deserves a place to
Yeah.
dispose of their trash, so don't, this is not
we appreciate it very much, the town does. Every
good.
town meeting, I make sure they know about this, and there's a copy in there so they can read
Make
it.
sure they come out and vote in
Yeah.
November.
We will.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Very-
That, I will leave this right here with the new business packet, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I'll leave it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next. A clarification on the personnel policy, holidays and benefits, part-time benefit eligible. Jeanette, what is this about?
Well,
Wow.
I'll try to explain it as best I can, but Michael can chime in when he likes. It just came to my attention and that we weren't sure whether holidays, paid holidays are considered benefits to employees, or if it solely is for vacation, personal time, and sick time. So we kind of looked through the personnel policy and it wasn't real clear. And this only affects a part-time benefits eligible employee, which we don't always have very many of. So it just kind of came up as to whether a person under that category could be paid, half of the holiday pay on a prorated basis based on being part-time.
I was under the assumption that the answer is yes to that.
And if it's not correct, I would agree that we should be doing that.
And I reread the policy today and I think that obviously that's a better part of our benefit package to all of our, to all of our employees. Yes, Mike.
So the part that makes that very confusing, under holiday compensation,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it might be specifically for the police department, it is, maybe
Okay.
not, section 10. Holiday compensation, it says any part-time police officer required to work on a legal holiday or the day observed as a holiday shall be paid at a rate of 1.5 times the employee's hourly rate. Above that, it talks about full-time employees getting the holiday rate and 1.5 times or the holiday pay and 1.5 times their hourly rate. So effectively, if you work on a holiday as a full-time employee, you get 2.5 times pay.
Mhm.
But it clearly differentiates that a part-time police officer simply gets the 1.5 times pay. So I guess my question is, if they're working that holiday and don't get half of the holiday compensation, why would they get half of the holiday compensation when they're not working? If that makes sense.
Could you say it one more time?
So I guess first of all, the policy seems clear to me that, again, full-time employees that work on a legal holiday get paid effectively 2.5 times their hourly rate. It differentiates that a part-time police officer required to work on that legal holiday only gets 1.5 times that employee's hourly rate. So the policy clearly states that they do not get the holiday compensation.
They get part of the problem. And I think that the intent probably with this was to say, yes, so they're working and they get an extra 50% bump on their pay for working that day.
Right, not the 2.5.
Right, right.
So again, the question was, holiday compensation, should they be getting half of, like, so we're working under the assumption of an employee that works, say, 20 hours a week, so we'll call it half. Should they be getting half of the holiday compensation when they're not working? My argument is, if they're getting it when they're not working, why aren't they getting it when they're working? And if it clearly says that they're not getting it when they're
I
working.
get it. Now I get it.
Give it to them. So that then brings into the next question, the next section of holiday vacation and leave.
Mm-hmm.
It does not differ, is that considered a benefit? Vacation pay, personal time, sick leave, is that a benefit, or is that separate because there's a separate section 13 for benefits? Are we only talking about section 13?
Jeanette, do you have any insight of what we've been doing with this?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it hasn't been a norm for us to have a benefits eligible part-time person, so yeah, so I guess that was my question too, is because it's a separate section that talks about the benefits as opposed to a separate section of holidays. You know, does it all fall under benefits?
Yes.
So currently, the way that it has been handled at the police department is, again, working on the assumption of a part-time eligible, or a benefits eligible part-time employee that's working roughly 20 hours per week. So we're talking 50% of benefits. That person would be getting 50% of the sick days, personal days, and vacation days.
Mm-hmm.
My argument is that in reading the policy, it clearly states that all employees shall be allowed 5 days of sick leave or 40 hours. And all employees shall get 20 hours of personal leave. So are we considering this personal leave and sick leave a benefit, or is a benefits eligible part-time employee do 40 hours of sick and 20 of person instead of half of that, which is what we've been doing? So it kind of opens a little can of worms.
I think we need to
Scratch that.
rewrite the wording on that.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So I guess we need to know what I didn't mean to interrupt, we need to know what the intention of the policy and what the board is, to be able to figure out how to rewrite it.
I think that the board, in my opinion, and I'm ready to listen to anybody else, it's 50% of The holidays of everything, basically, yes, because they're only working approximately 50% of the time.
Sure.
So because that makes a holiday, yeah, that, I think of 50%, and I think we need to clarify that. And change the policy at some point here, yes.
So, for me, yeah, I mean, I guess under the description of benefits eligible part-time employees, it says they're subject to all the rules and regulations and receive all benefits as provided by this policy on a prorated basis, based on their expected work hours. So perhaps it should say, I don't know. I mean,
Include
I
that
guess,
the prorated, yeah.
Well, the thing I think it's missing is
Is the holiday.
benefits and holiday
Holiday
sick
compensation.
personal. I think that would clarify.
I think that would,
That they
Yeah.
get a prorated sick personal and vacation time as well.
so we add that to the part-time, one, which is, where is that? Yeah, so that should be added as part of the part-time stipulation part of
Yeah,
the
section 8A.
8A.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we say that for all of them though? All the types, because it says a full-time employee receives all benefits. But it doesn't, it's not specific as to what all benefits is.
I think it doesn't hurt to make it more
Crystal
clear than less clear, so
Yeah.
I think by adding it is also a good idea, you guys?
Okay.
It's not gonna hurt anything to be over
Overly,
thorough.
okay,
So then to be clear, we're talking about the holiday compensation as well, so
yes,
Yes.
say they typically work 20 hours per week, they should get 5 of the 10 hours that a normal officer would get for that holiday compensation.
yes.
Okay.
Okay,
That clears it for me.
all right, are you okay, Jeanette?
Yes, so I can rework that and have it for the next meeting to,
Perfect,
to
perfect, it
approve.
doesn't seem like it's really a change, but it's more of a clarification of what the intent was.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to us, Mike. Appreciate that. I'm sorry it was confusing. I think that's probably been in there longer than any of us have been on this board.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Next up. Assessor, we have Linda's signed maintenance contract for AP5 Assesspro-software company for Catalis and Patriot. How do you say that?
Catalis or
Catalis and Patriot.
Yes, so, Ryan Silvestri is on, did
Does he
you
have his
all
hand?
get this?
I think that's just the screen.
Did you all get the?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. But, phew,
So it's a 3-year package that is 3 years, the prices do go up or every year, but at least we know our costs.
correct.
Do you know what we paid this year?
For this or for ProVal?
So this is a new service we're gonna be signing up for. How do you know what we pay for ProVal?
About 4,000
So this is substantially
substantially.
more, because these rates are this year 68.75, next year 72.87 and change, and year 3 77.24.
Okay, so my only piece with this is that, it wasn't budgeted going forward. I wanna have Ryan speak to this first though, and then perhaps talk about. I think this is would start October 1st. So for the first year. That this has not been budgeted,
So the 68.75 is not in your budget,
no.
because you were not aware of this additional charge? Is there ProVal money in your budget?
Yes.
Okay, so
So we're gonna be like doubling up for 25 And then into 26, it would just be the Catalis Patriot.
So this year would be the only double up.
Yes, well, 2005, 2000, where am I?
25.
25, yikes. 2000, yeah, so next year's budget that we do in November, I would be able to make sure that this is covered.
Okay,
So Ryan, hi Ryan.
Hi,
well, welcome.
thank you.
So can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of give you an overview of this. So Catalis Patriot is a software that we use, New England Municipal Consultants. We're contracted to do your townwide reappraisal for the 2026 grand list. So this was part of the package and actually demonstration when you sign the contract for the reappraisal. And this is also in the contract that these costs are to be expected. The bid, however, just came in a bit after the reappraisal contract was signed. So I had to get a bid because I'm trying to start the conversion process so we can actually start the data collection for the townwide reappraisal here this fall. So I can't start the conversion because you guys haven't signed the contract to purchase the software and accept the maintenance contract. The biggest difference between AP5 and ProVal is that you are buying data on cloud storage. You're buying cloud storage on Amazon servers, AWS. So this will start to alleviate the need for a local server. I'm not sure what else you have on a local server. But if assessing's it, this alleviates your need for a server and local IT. You still need a network. If you want to network multiple computers to the application, you still need a networking device, which doesn't not need to be a server, can be something much simpler. But it's not like a one-for-one replacement of ProVal because ProVal doesn't have cloud capability. So, but this is a software we used and the software that was signed off in the contract for the reappraisal.
So this isn't that we're buying 8 we can have multiple computers running the same cloud-based software, just getting a networking device.
Yeah, yeah. So when you purchase this, you get one web-based login. So a web-based login is basically, it'll be Linda. She's have a username and password. She can log into AP5 anywhere that there's internet through the web. You don't need additional users for that because you also get a second portal to your data on AWS, which can be linked up to a networking device that can then be farmed out to every computer in your town hall if you choose to. It doesn't need to be, it's based in, so this satisfies everything. I think there may be language on there for $1,000 per user. That would be $1,000 per web user, which you guys do not need. You get one free web login with this contract.
Questions, comments? So Linda, do we have money in the reappraisal fund that we can use for this?
That was gonna be my recommendation, that when this gets signed tonight, that payment comes from there.
For the 2024-25 subscription year. Comments? Yes,
Right, so was that in the maintenance fee, that was all in the contract already?
The numbers weren't, but the expectation was there. So these are the actual numbers from Catalis.
Gotcha,
We're just resellers of their software.
gotcha.
do we have any questions? It sounds like we can't go forward with the appraisal if we don't have it. And I think we're lucky we have some money that we can use from the appraisal fund, so. All right, does somebody want to make a motion that the book chair sign this?
Make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign the contract,
3-year contract.
3-year contract, with Catalis for the, reappraisal software.
Second.
Close enough?
No other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
get my eye,
Yes, we did, Joe. Thank you so much.
just checking.
Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah, no, not a problem.
You want this back, Linda, or am I leaving it for Jeanette?
Should I
So
just
we-
email it to you or take a screenshot and send it to you, Ryan?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do that.
Forward?
Yep.
And so is this our bill? Do we pay from this or will we get a bill from them?
No, you'll be invoiced. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yep. And
Alright,
this year,
okay.
this year will be prorated, so it'll be prorated October to January, and then your annual January to January will begin.
Okay, so that it will be an annual, so
Yeah.
maybe. Okay. So I think we actually need to amend that,
The motion,
yeah,
but we didn't put it.
Oh,
no, we didn't. Because we kind of insinuated that it starts October 1st for a year. It's gonna start October 1st for 2 months or 3 months,
Well-
and then we'll do a year. Is that correct?
so it's the same on there, yeah, so it's just the 2 months basically for this year are just gonna be a proration from year one. Year one starts January 1st.
Okay,
Oh, okay. Good. I was thinking October.
Yeah, so we're starting October 1, so we can start the reappraisal. So it's just gonna be a proration of year one for month 1 and 2. And the only reason that they have to bill for those months is because as soon as we get up on AWS servers, Amazon starts billing them. So
Okay.
that's the 2, it's the 2 months, it's not a clean start in January.
can you, Jeanette, in the minutes clearly reflect that this is actually it's October, November, December, correct? 3 months?
Freedman.
And then we will start an annual contract January 1st, 2025.
Mhm.
Okay, good. There's someone, you can have that back. Okay. And next we have error and omission for Pam Dudley, Goose City 005 and Brickyard 012.
So I have a question first. Did I send you the budget for Somerset?
Yes,
That was not what your story said.
I got this as well.
Yes, okay, yes.
Okay, so I looked at that and read through it and I'm not really certain I understand everything.
Right.
Anybody else have any questions about it?
Which we're talking.
This,
Goose City, right?
Goose City and Brickyard, yeah.
I did kind of summarize it to hopefully take out some of that confusion.
So I see that. But I guess I'm just wondering. Did the combined value, because the 2 properties were combined. And then the separated value, does it is it less in total value? And I'm struggling trying to figure that out today.
As was I tell you, this thing was really racking my brain. So what I did. Usually it's more, it comes out to be more. Because when you combine parcels, you actually, in some instances, the property owner gets a little break on the ending value. The way it's
Mhm.
set up in the valuation program. So on this one, I have a copy of this for you, maybe I should just give this to you. So I did not send you this one, because I did this, the second one. And I only made one, you can share.
Parcels were combined for the 2024 grand list. New value for combined was 176,200, and the tax bill is 4542.69. This created a problem for the mortgage company, meaning the escrow account would change because now they have a bigger tax bill. The business use of the property needed to be allocated. To do this correctly, I split the parcels again. The value of the dwelling in 6 acres is 127,240. Because the business was declared is under 25% of the value of the garage is billed at the non-homestead rate. The remaining house homestead the homestead rate. The remaining billed at the homestead rate is $2,948.60. The BY 12, which is the land, 14 acres, is 35,000, so it did go down in value from 127,240 plus 35,000 is not 170. What is it, 170?
620.
7620. So it went down, so I'm confused, it's the same land and the same house, and I don't understand how it went down.
Right. Alright, so that, yeah, and I had. The only thing that so it was 6 and the other parcel was 14. And so 127, right, so what ended up happening is when I really needed help with this because of the business use. Because it was less than 25%. They don't actually have to claim that. Rental use, yes, you claim 1%. So when I had to reallocate the business use and it brought the homestead, the non-homestead amount down. And I'm thinking that's where that value change came from. Marco wasn't in when I was doing this. Cause I try to run stuff by him to make sure that this was gonna be the correct numbers for you. And when I phoned the state and went through this with them, was exactly how she told me, and so the amounts that I got, then at the bottom, the original bill was 4542.69. The revised bill ends up at 3298.11. And
For Goose City.
for Goose City. And then Brickyard becomes 912.56. And I'm wondering if it's because there's less being billed as non-residential. Let's still go to the homestead, and this is a weird one. Yeah, when I total those, 4210.67. And the original bill was 4542, so we were like 300 something off.
Yeah, and the original bill was $4,542 and change, and now it's down to $4,210 and change.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just confused why the value of the property would change.
will change. And it's still the same values. I mean,
Scott, you have a question?
No, I think the way I understood it, because what I thought I understood, it was that it was they didn't realize that it was business and that was evaluated differently. And that's,
I can
Great,
see,
that's
it.
all-
So is that
that's-
all based on the non-homestead tax rate that it went down that much? That seems dramatic.
yeah,
Okay,
it does.
well, was there more acreage or something that got involved on that business parcel then?
Mm-mm.
That shouldn't, so then.
So basically what they told me is if it's less than 25% and it's being she was trying to claim it on the dwelling and the garage, the business use. When it's less than that, so we lose the value of the garage off the homestead.
Yeah.
The whole
and the
value,
homestead tax rate is higher.
right,
So, yes,
so we're still. I mean, we went through this like 4 times to explain it. And it was still like, this is still not making sense. I mean, the only other thing I could do is, I didn't. Typically, when it's something like this where I'm changing an allocation to business rental use, I can send it back to the state with a note and have them look at it.
I frankly think that's a good idea.
I mean, I came tonight because we're coming close to the 15th. Obviously, she doesn't wanna have a late tax payment, whatever the first.
Well, she could
payment is.
pay her first one and then just her second
Yeah.
payment would be less if this applies. I mean, it doesn't, she's not gonna out the money if
Right.
we do reduce the tax. And it
Right.
is, but I think I wanna be sure we're doing it right, because this may come up again.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it the same way every time,
time.
it's not right. So I know it might be a bit of a hardship for her to make that first payment. But I would encourage her to do that, and then maybe the next one will be to reduce by additional.
Yeah, cause when Marco even met with the 2 of us, and the way it was working out was that she wouldn't have anything due for her second payment. Like it would all end up on I don't know why this is weird, it's just one of
If they
those
can
that
clarify it in writing, I would really appreciate it, then we can use it as a roadmap going forward.
Yeah, the precedent.
Yes,
So I can, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll send that up and see what they say,
thank you,
so we'll wait on that.
awesome.
Is that it?
No, the public meeting, I guess that's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ryan's still on.
Yeah, so we consider a new date for reappraisal public meeting.
I was recommending October 1st. That's the first. Is that the date of the first meeting in October?
Yes.
I think it is,
Does it
yes.
fall on the first? Oh, it's right over there.
Okay, and we're gonna meet at the town hall,
Mhm,
okay, at 6 and allocate up to an hour.
mhm.
Does that seem, as you recall it, Joe?
It's before the meeting, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
and then the regular meeting will start at 7.
That's it. Does that work for you, Ryan? What we
Yeah.
talked about?
Okay,
Yep, definitely.
Scott,
Do you think that an hour is more, is that's enough, or is that too much time, or not enough, or perfect, or?
An hour is probably perfect. That will allow enough time for any questions or anything, so, yep.
and Jeanette, could you warn that as the regular meeting will start immediately after the special meeting?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, everybody good with October 1st?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks. And are we gonna see you in person, Ryan?
Oh, yes, I will be there in person. Yep.
Very nice, thank
Yep.
you.
Don't look forward to meeting all of you.
Great.
So, can I have a question, Vicky?
Yes, yes, sir.
So if for some reason it goes shorter, we can start the meeting before 7, so we're not waiting around, correct? The way you're gonna warn it?
That's why I asked Jeanette to warn it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we know the date and the time.
And I'll make sure now I can put something on the website and in the paper.
Very good.
saying that, right?
Great, that's it for you.
Hey,
Okay. Now we have economic development and Eric only has one agenda item tonight.
nice job, Eric.
Make
And
up for it
Eric,
next
take it over.
Yeah, so I spoke to Deckard after our last meeting. Basically, our options are to wait or to sign on for at least the discovery portion of the contract to have them start finding those properties that are listed on Airbnb. So basically, there's two parts to how this all gets kicked off. And the first is the discovery, where they're scraping those websites and collecting all of the data and compiling the data on those properties, so that we know how many we're actually looking at. And then the second part of, moving into it would be to set up that registration process, and get that moving. So each of those pieces takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So without us moving forward with at least purchasing the software portion, there's not too much we can do right now. If we have an option here to either move forward, to wait a little longer. I just wanted to get the feedback from the board.
Well, to date, I don't think we've had a petition to recall it. Have we, Jeanette? Do you know of any?
No,
Has anyone asked about it?
If people inquired, how they would do that? Kim, I think I would feel better if we waited at least 2 more weeks, because I hate to expend $18,500 and then have to put it to a vote and, and it may, I don't know.
I completely agree with you. I just wanted feedback from you guys before I made any moves. So
Yeah, because that would be 30 days and they have 2 more weeks after that potentially, but you would think that if there were people who were concerned about the ordinance, they would start mobilizing on it.
and to be clear, it's 45 days or 60.
I thought it was 44.
no, it is 44, but then the ordinance, if nothing comes in 44 days, a petition, then the ordinance takes effect 60 days after the adoption. So there's a little,
45, we know we can.
But at day 45, we are clear to know that we, 60
Right.
days, and then we can start.
yes.
Okay.
It's not gonna affect our price at all. Okay.
Nope.
Let's keep it, that's a lot of money to potentially, right.
Have to redo.
As much as I'd like to get the data, being, collected and that kind of thing, I think I'd like to just make sure we have a good ordinance.
Agreed. I just wanted feedback from you guys. So thank you.
Okay, everybody agree?
Good.
Okay. All right, thanks, that's it. Hey, I gotta tell you, the Philip Bartlett plaque and the stone is better than the first stone. So thank you, Travis, but you guys, it's gorgeous up there and it's impressive and you guys did a good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. At the town forest, it's really nice. So thank you. Okay, moving on. Unfinished business. Revisit the Vermont 250th anniversary of the town of the.
Resolution.
The resolution of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution.
Yes.
Yes. So we haven't signed on. Did everybody read this? There's quite a few towns around us that have signed on. Of course, everybody around here. Around everywhere is gonna be doing celebrations for this.
Are we in the West together?
No, we've gotten this before. We just haven't done anything about it.
Okay.
But Wilmington is signed on, as has other local towns, Win Hall, Londonderry.
Manchester,
Shaftesbury,
Bennington.
Bennington, yeah. So if we sign on, it's a resolution that we will do some events and I'd like to consider that we put together a committee who might wanna plan some events. And solicit people who might be interested in doing it. The events should start next year and move into 2026. So I don't know what other people are thinking about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Yes, Jeanette.
I had reached out to Megan, actually, she reached out just to remind us about this resolution. And I told her that I could be the contact person for the town of Dover. And I'm sure I can find some other living historians who could help out with the committee. I know originally we put it out to people, but nobody had expressed any interest, so
Well, I was thinking maybe the committee could run some kind of contest for ideas of what to do for the 250th. So then we could put a little bit of, economic development money behind for small prizes and just a little of something to entice people to get involved and do something kind of interesting. So, and bring it to the school, absolutely, when we had our 200th in Dover, there was a play written, it was a musical, it was a big part of the celebration, so, yeah. So, I'd like to put a committee together if you guys are into that.
We have coins and shirts and hats.
We had coins and shirts and hats, yeah. And since this is a national kind of thing, it's gonna, a lot of communities are gonna be doing different things. So something out of the box could be kind of interesting. So, come back to. Are we gonna put some effort into having a celebration and sign on as a town?
I think we should.
Yes, I agree.
So make a motion to sign.
Vermont 250th.
Make a motion that we sign the Vermont 250th anniversary resolution. Committing the town to pursuing activities relative to the 250th anniversary of our country, or Declaration of Independence.
Second.
Any other discussion, public? All in favor?
Aye. What's the date of this?
Aye.
Thank you, Joe.
There were things that happened in Vermont in 1775, and so they're starting to kick things off next year. Okay, everybody gets to sign that one. Yes. All right. And then just put it back to your stock. We're done with it. And then signing up.
I know you got 50 on them.
I only have 2 tonight, so. Next is revisit allocation of $70,000 for the water system task force. So. Joe threw out 70,000 coming from economic development the last meeting, and I said that I thought we should warn it. Patrick's done some work. Patrick, do you want to talk about your numbers? Yeah.
Sure.
Make sure we get you on tape.
Sure.
So, following the last meeting, I reached out to John Ashley at Du Bois and King, which is the firm that had done, not the firm, he was the engineer at a different firm who had done the prior feasibility study, which is step one in all of this. I think, Sarah, you had spoken to him, and he had kind of thrown out a ballpark number at 70. I went and, based on the discussion of the last meeting, asked him to come back and kind of focus it, put some real work into coming up with a number. He came back and gave us an proposed budget of 67,452, which is within the 70. So it feels like, you know, I'm not sure how you draw those budget lines, but it's certainly within the 70 for the work that he scoped out. This would also include, I think I sent a question to him earlier today to make sure that it included a community survey so that we can make sure getting into the project, we've done enough due diligence and work around the question of community support for the whole project before we get too far into it. So I think that's, you know, that's.
And I read also in that the town would then need to do the mailing and the postage, so maybe, so 67, and then we're gonna use some money on postage.
Right, so 70 sounds right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
So, I don't have a problem for some initial funding coming from economic development. This project, and I know I'm talking to people who know, but I just want to go on record. This is not a normal economic development thing.
Expenditure.
Yes, and we cannot fund this project in any way, shape, or form through our economic development money. Besides some seed money for things to start happening. And I really think we have to pay attention to that. The last time, I mean, I do believe that this is economic development, but we just don't have the resources to do the things that we also want to do in other areas. And the last time we gave money to another entity, which was $20,000, we got beat up really bad for it. And I felt that was also economic development, because if we didn't have a rescue in this area, we weren't gonna have a lot of anything going on. So I just want to be careful about it.
The one thing that we would do, obviously, and I did discuss this with John, is that we would apply, there's a state, forget the acronym, but it's like a state drinking water loan fund that I believe makes forgivable loans. I think they're forgivable if you proceed with the project. This would fall under what they call step one, or it's the first of three parts of step one. The following two parts, which are not included in this, is a preliminary engineering review and an environmental assessment. Those would be an additional cost. I don't have any visibility on that yet.
I understand.
Okay.
So,
Yes,
so what we're talking about is using economic development money to determine whether it's a feasible project for the town. And then once we determine that, then we're talking about a different source of funds
or multi.
for enacting the program. Right now, this is just can we do it?
I think we can apply for these funds for this phase, and what John told me is you can break it up and it doesn't prejudice whatever you try to do in the future. You don't have to kind of apply for it all at once. You can do it step by step. Longer term, obviously, if we do a go on the project, it's much bigger than that, so that'd be a very different discussion.
Right.
Eric, do you have any thoughts about using economic development money in this manner?
No, I think this is an economic development initiative for sure. My only concern, I will echo yours, Vicky, is that, you know, that we don't turn economic development into the open wallet for the project, because it's a slippery slope, and you know, we do have things in the pipeline that, you know, and things that we've been running that we'd like to continue to fund. So I just don't want to see this affect those projects, or, you know, or anything else that we've already budgeted.
Any other comments from anybody? All right. Does somebody want to make a motion that we use $70,000 in economic development money to do the initial
It's the update of the feasibility.
update, the feasibility study?
I make a motion that we expend up to $70,000 of economic development funds to update the feasibility study for a water program in the town of Dover.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Joe's not here.
Joe is not here. Okay. Okay, now the next thing we also have, and Patrick can stay here. Consider approval of water task force composition and scope of responsibility. I have way too much paper.
Joe's back in.
There he is.
Joe, we just voted $70,000 from economic development money without you.
And he's mute.
He's not here with your eyes here.
Okay, so did everybody get a copy of this, the task force? Yes, okay. I appreciate Patrick put in a lot of work on this and I do appreciate it. And does anybody have any comments about this?
Would you like me just to summarize for?
Yeah, for the general
Sure.
public would be great.
Sure, so at the last meeting, I was also asked for purposes of composing the task force on the municipal water supply question. Basically come up with a definition of who we would hope to have on the task force and what the mission of the task force is, and so I put together a document that summarized that, and effectively, we're looking at 5 to 7 members with broad representation from different categories across the community so that we get a diverse range of views, because this is potentially a very big decision for the town going forward. And then basically the plan has been discussed with Vicky and with Sarah, is that we will convene based on this scope and the applications that have been received. I believe as of today, we had 6 or 7 applications received, I believe. I'm waiting to hear from Mount Snow and North Branch Fire District to see if they will nominate someone, because they've been able to do that. But assuming that's the case, then the planning commission would meet. I'm gonna try to put together a meeting next week so that we can consider and review the applications and then make a recommendation to the select board for the next meeting. Then the scope of responsibility really just kind of defines the areas of the work to be done over the 2-year term. It'll actually take longer to do that, but the term of the initial appointment would be for 2 years for the members. And it's basically acting as in summary, it's to act as the primary entity charged with kind of guiding and serving as the primary town interface in carrying out first the feasibility study, then assuming we get past the feasibility study, whatever happens after that. And in noting in conversations with the people at the state in the drinking water office, I'm going to call it, they said think about it in terms of a 5 to 10 year project, and so this is really just the beginning of that.
Did anybody have any changes they wanted on this? I know I submitted and Sarah submitted.
Very
And
minor
he
changes,
submit.
he got it.
Submit changes?
No. Application.
Okay. So we have an application deadline of the 16th at noon. No, that's wrong.
No.
That's wrong. The
Ninth, so
yes,
he
the
can-
9th.
Good night.
Yes.
So the members of the planning commission who are not applying to be on the board,
We've had several planning commission members
Right.
apply, so they wouldn't be
the
involved in
leftovers
considering-
will be
Right.
making the recommendation to us.
Right,
With the exception of me, I guess, because I have to chair the meeting.
yes.
Okay.
All right, I don't know that we need to formally make a motion to accept this, but I think that we were happy with it, and thank you for your work, and use this as, anybody who's interested should definitely, is this on the website now?
Not yet, but I can
Okay.
talk to Jim about that.
Okay,
Okay.
and then direct anybody to the roles and responsibilities.
Right. Okay.
Great, so thank you very much, I know you put in a lot of work
Yeah,
on it,
thank you.
thank you. All right, we're gonna need to go into the Board of Liquor Control.
Make a motion, we go to the board of liquor control.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
All right, thanks,
Okay.
Joe.
I make a motion that we approve special event permits for the Wine and Harvest Festival for Eden Ice Cider Company, Putney Mountain Winery LLP, Saxon's River Distillery LLC, Shelburne Vineyard LLC, St. Johnsbury Distillery, Vermont Vermouth LLC, White Mountain Distillery, and request to cater permits for Valley Craft Ales LLC and WI Foster LLC. And Mike already gave me.
Second.
Any discussion about all of this wine and harvest and the request to cater? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to come out of.
Aye.
Aye by Joe, two. All in favor? Aye.
Joseph.
Yes,
Joe
I'll
voted
take
yes,
it.
And then I move to come out of liquor control and, Dan seconded.
And then we all voted, we're coming out.
Yes.
Yes.
You look, did we catch you up, Jeanette, or are you still missing information? You look confused.
No.
It's the head cold she has.
Oh, gosh. I'm-
No, I didn't understand why you were repeating that, so never mind.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we have consent agenda. We have the minutes from August 20th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 20th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to.
Aye.
Thank
There
you.
you go. Make a motion to approve the warrants of August 31st, 2024 for $153,427.08.
Second.
Any questions about the warrants? So Joe, you need to abstain from that,
I haven't seen them.
okay? You didn't look at these in advance, did you?
No, I did not.
No.
Thank you. So all in favor of approving the warrants?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions?
Yeah.
Okay,
I had down that we had a Snow Lake Dam meeting on September 5th. That got changed again.
they haven't, I don't know that they,
No.
No,
I'm not aware of that either,
I had it on, but
so.
No.
I will delete it.
Okay, FYIs, anybody have any FYIs? Liaison reports? Executive session for personnel for Mike and Scott Selway, so if everybody else leaves, Mike can come over and then we'll